Ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special treat for you guys. 10-time USA basketball gold medalist as a head coach of the U.S. men's U16 and U17 national teams. Coach Don Showalter, the USA Basketball 3x3 Coach of the Year in 2022. Coach Nick Legalbo, currently coaching at Venice High School in Venice, Florida, with 30 years of coaching experience. Coach Mark Kurtz. Coach was introduced to me as Mr. 3-on-3 basketball. He's served 25 years as a coach. Coach Jeff Steinis. He has over 20 years of coaching experience. Coach has successfully incorporated 3x3 basketball into his high school program. Coach John Smits from Babcock Ranch High School in Punta Gorda, Florida. John Ali, founder of Mid-Michigan 3-on-3 basketball. Former college basketball player at College of Southern Idaho and College of Idaho. The driving force behind Mountain West 3-on-3. We have Coach Kyle Wilson. So let's just get right into the discussion. What is the number one reason why you think 3-on-3 basketball is good for basketball as a whole from a coach's standpoint?
Well, first and foremost, it's fun, and that's why we play this game, is because we want it to be fun and for enjoyment. But I think if you look at, kids in general, they want to be engaged. And what better sport than 3-on-3 basketball to be engaged? Because with 3-on-3, it's a little different than 5-on-5 because you have less players. You're playing in a half court, but there's so much more space. So I think the engagement is the number one reason why 3-on-3 is such a beautiful game.
And, let's face it, basketball is, it should be a game where players play the game and make and work on their decision making. Basketball is not a game where we as coaches control everything they do on the court. Let the players play a little bit, figure things out. And this is 3-on-3 is the best way to do that. It may not look very good all the time, but that's okay. Basketball doesn't look good all the time. Anyway, but at least you let the players figure it out in how to, and spacing and ball reversal and paint touches and those kind of things. So my advice would be to, try it and give it a good chance, because I think you're really gonna like the results of what you do 3-on-3.
Like if you play 3-on-3, you realize, like with 5-on-5. You can hide your worst defenders at times, right? Like you can take a guy who's a pretty good scorer and you need him on the floor for this, that, the other thing, and you can hide him. You can put him in the corner on the corner 3 guy. You can take him out of rotations. You can triple switch, and you can hide guys at times. Obviously, the really good teams at the highest levels are attacking those guys, right? They're getting them into action, so you can't hide them. But that's like the chess match that's happening at the highest levels right now, right? Obviously, if you have a team where you're built, where you have guys that are two-way players, I think you saw it with the Celtics this year. You have so many players that are two-way guys that you don't need to hide. Yeah. You're doing something right. But that's very rarely the case, I think, even at the highest level. So with 3-on-3, you cannot hide defensively. You know what I mean? If you can't guard, you're out on an island, you're going to be exploited, and people are going to continually attack you. And I love that. I think at the end of the day, if you're someone that hoops, you've got to care about both sides of the ball. There are some pure scorers, and don't get me wrong, we've got caught watching some of the best scorers in the world. They'll go get buckets, but then they're hiding on defense. They're taking plays off. And as a basketball guy, I just love guys who want to guard and guys who want to get after. And I think that's one of my favorite things. You have to guard in 3-on-3. You cannot hide. And the other thing that you said, especially for the grassroots side of it and growing the game of basketball, whether we're growing at 3-on-3, 5, growing basketball in our country, you need to be touching the ball to be involved. I'm watching these youth leagues, and I'm watching even my daughter's in 5th grade, right? And watching these teams play 5-on-5. Some of these players don't have the skill set to throw a full court pass yet, right? We're playing 5-on-5, and some of these girls who are really, and boys too, but they're really stronger, and puberty's hit, and they're pressing, and they have their best player guarding 90 feet, and they're just ripping them. Obviously, how do you attack that? You throw over the top and you hit the middle, but they're just not strong enough yet. So some of these players are never touching the ball. They've invested all this money. They're going to practices. They go play games, and there's no growth, right? Where in 3-on-3, you're getting a touch. You're learning how to attack seams. You're learning how to play to your strengths. I think those are my two favorite things about what 3-on-3 brings, especially for the grassroots level.
Well, I think if you're looking at offense and how you may do things differently than other people or whatever, but nothing worse, I think, for a kid that wants to play, regardless of where they think their stature is within the team, to watch some kid dribble and dribble and dribble and dribble and dribble. And oh my God, I just get so tired of that. So when we get into those settings, okay, pass and cut, or utilize the screen, or what pick and roll and give and go are the two most basic things you can do offensively that have been around since the beginning of time. And those are things that you utilize in a 3-on-3 setting. To me, is you learn how to run a pick and roll, and you learn how to run a back cut or a give and go, and you get movement and you get screening. And now you have kids that may not be the greatest skilled kids, but they are so locked into what they're doing because I have to screen. I have to go set a screen. I got to go find a guy and get him to free up my teammate. So now it becomes we're doing this for each other as opposed to watching some kid dribble and, get over here in the corner and hide and let him go the hole with it. So I think it just promotes what you want to teach and the solid concepts of what really fundamental basketball is. And then it also gets everybody involved. And that's, to me, regardless of sport, if you have kids that don't have any, involvement within the practice or a game.
Focus.
They don't, and then they cause trouble. And then that's when we have issues. So
yeah.
Busy, happy, good, but you're also teaching them something valuable that maybe I may not be the best skilled kid, but I can contribute to this team because I can rebound, or I can set a screen, or I can keep the floor space by not standing there and watching a kid dribble. I can, movement. So to me, that's what's important.
Yeah, and that's one of my favorite things about 3-on-3 is just the involvement everybody gets. Because I've had plenty of times where, like you said, I was actually one of those kids. I hit in the corner a lot of times and just ready to shoot the corner three, and balls on the other side. I'm not really involved, and just when they swing it around my way, I'll get it. Yeah,
you start salivating once the ball goes up over the middle of the court. But if it doesn't, then you're like, what am I even doing here? And then now I'm going to go down and play defense after I stood over here and watched you dribble for 15, 20 seconds. No, I'm not really invested to do that. Because you know what? The next possession, I might stand in the corner again and never touch it. So I think that's what I think we get away from, that type of thing. And again, if it's so different to me, what you do at junior high and what you do in high school, I get that, because there is, I don't care where you're at, there is a pressure to win. And at the junior high, there should not be any of that.
Why do you believe it's beneficial specifically for your program?
So we use FIBA rules during the summer, almost every workout for probably about 15 minutes. We like it for three reasons. Conditioning, for defensive principles, like you better be a really, really good help side defender and a really good on-ball defender when you're playing FIBA rules, and for quick decisions. Like those are the three biggest reasons that we really like the FIBA rules during the summer.
As I'm watching some of the younger kids who were a little tentative in week 1 and week 2, a little quiet, and then all of a sudden week 3 and 4, they're really starting to talk on defense, and they're helping each other, and it's like they started to come out of their shell. And so you could see the ones that were a little bit more prone to maybe leadership step up and kind of take some leadership out there on the court. They were communicating more. They were working together more. You could see them gathering up before the game, the 3 or 4 kids, and they're plotting and planning. They're making, they're drawing up ideas on their finger like we used to back in the day, So to me, that's, what you're seeing there are leadership qualities coming out. Obviously we want our kids as they grow up to be the best communicators they can, because that's so important, whether that's in sports or just in life in general, in the workplace. So we saw a lot of that starting to come out in kids. I think just fostering that that competitiveness in a fun environment. Like have fun when you're playing. It doesn't always have to be about, chasing that scholarship, or it doesn't have to feel like a job. Have fun and enjoy it. That carries over to so many things that we do in life. Working together, that teamwork piece, being aggressive, tenacity, overcoming challenges, adversity. I think, you can see kids in in that short time in a 20-minute 3-on-3 game experience a lot of those different things. And you watch them and how they deal with that from week 1 to week 4. And quite honestly, I was blown away at like the growth that I saw in a lot of those kids in just that 4-week period. It was awesome.
I think you're going to see your son or daughter really develop their skills as a player with the 3-on-3. Playing 5-on-5 all the time, you can have a player maybe run up and down the court 5, 6, 7, 8 times and never touch the basketball.
Yep.
So, if you really want to get your son or daughter to the point where they are confident with their skills, they have to actually be able to play the game. And when you play the game 3-on-3, like I said before, you're accountable to the players on your team. Your skills get evaluated. You can evaluate your skills, weaknesses, and strengths. So you get done, you can say, oh, man, I need to work on my left hand, or, you know what, my rebounding is not very good. I need to work on that.
There's multiple reasons, but it's kids get better playing time. They get more handling of the ball. And just the whole experience, even as a parent watching your kid, right? You don't got to worry about the coach pulling them out. As a parent watching your kid in a 3-on-3 league, you can relax, right? Because you're not playing for a championship. Oh, man, is my kid going to mess up and turn the ball over? So I think, they got to try it, right?
And ultimately, parents really just want to, they want to just take pictures and video of their kids playing. And that's why I love it, because a lot of these kids, sometimes they don't get playing time, or you travel to, an hour away to a gym and just to see your kid play the last minute of the game. And even then, it's not a guarantee that he'll touch the ball. So I like the fact that you get to actually record your kid and, take pictures of your kid playing. So,
all kids that want to play basketball, like you mentioned earlier, some kids got the personal trainers, some kids play the AAU teams, some kids play the school teams. I think all of that should be into one. Like, every kid that plays basketball, you need to take all of this and put it into your training. You need to work with a trainer. You need to have your 3-on-3 session, season, or whatever. If it's a month, you got your high school team or your junior high team, and then you got your AAU team. Like, I don't think parents and kids, I don't think they think that way. Like, like time. People always talk about time, right? Like, time is our most valuable commodity. But if you know how to use it correctly and manage your time correctly, you can bundle all of that into your training regimen. Yeah. And I feel like that's the next step for us at Score Hoops 3-on-3, and then for yourself as well for 3-on-3 Live. Like, when it comes to like selling the actual 3-on-3 tool, we need to, as coaches, because we coach the regular game also, right? Because just keep it real. 5-on-5 is NBA, Euro League, whatever the case. Like, that's the top of the top. However, 3-on-3 is a valuable tool for 5-on-5, which we're going to get into a little bit later. But I kind of just feel like, people don't need to turn their nose up to 3-on-3 and scoff at it. Like, it needs to be entrenched into it.
Just to get kids to keep moving and keep playing or whatever, stay engaged the entire practice, teaching man-to-man concepts on defense, learning how to move against those same defensive concepts on offense, and the multiple repetitions you get. So there's your solution for time. So
well, and too, if you're teaching, let's say 2 or 3 things in your 3-on-3, you're going to give a ball screen and roll, pick and roll, and you're going to go give and go. Well, the other side of it is, you've got to be able to defend a pick and roll. I mean, I didn't realize it so much until I got to the college level. And you got, your scouting report's so different than high school. And it's like, we had the 3 years, I had 7 different ways we defended a ball screen.
Wow.
7 different ways, Kevin. And it's like, I thought at high school level, I taught hedge and get back. That's how we did it, regardless of where the screen was taking place. Hedge and get back. That's what we taught. And I thought, oh, I got this. I got the college. It's like, holy Moses. Now we got to, well, it's like, jump it, screen it, double it, go under it. It's like, oh my Lord. It's like, how are you going to keep this straight? I can't even keep it straight. I've been doing this a long time. So without getting too complex, but the skills at 3-on-3 offensively, you want kids to exhibit. Defensively, those are things that you've got to be able to stop. And there you go. If you're doing your drill is 3-on-3 and you're doing offense and defense, you're, more power to you, because you're getting 2 things at once. And that's hard to do sometimes.
Yeah.
During the season, when we go, how we use 3-3-3 is we use it for defending common actions. So we're at a small school right now. We're growing, but we're small. So usually we're going to have 6, maybe 7 players that play in varsity games. So I've got to do my best to get those guys reps. And 5-on-5 is not the best way to do it, because at our school, we're not always going to have quality reps with players lower down in the rotation.
Correct.
So how we do it is what we call 3-on-3-on-3 continuous.
Nice.
So I'll take our 2 best, I'll take our top 6 players, I'll split them evenly. One group will be on one main goal, one will be on the other main goal. And honestly, at the end of the year, as we get ready for tournament play, myself, I know as I aged myself, right? Myself and my 2 other younger assistants, we're running common actions against the team. So it's going, offense is going end to end, and the 2 defensive teams stay on the weak side end. So like if we're defending zoom action, which we saw a ton when we got to Florida. Like we're setting pin down to handoff, pin down to handoff, pin down to handoff. Like, and so you're getting a ton of reps in 8 minutes. Put your best players against your best players.
Yeah.
Iron sharpens iron. Give those really good players good competitive repetitions in basketball in your practice setting. They're going to get better.
I'll start with our high school programs. Both boys and girls use a lot of what we learned from Snow Valley Basketball School up in Waverly, Iowa. We play a lot of 3-on-3 cutthroat. You can do it 2 ways. You can do it from the offensive side, trying to score, and there's different regulations or stipulations you can put into play, or you can do it from the defensive side. When we play 5-on-5 for our high school seasons, both the boys and girls programs track what are called kills, which are 3 stops in a row. And we have drills. We actually have a drill we call it the kill drill, or three in a row, where kids have to get 3 stops in a row before they can get off the court. So we implement a lot of those ideas both during season and out of season. In Iowa, we can't have contact with our players out of season. So we have a lot of what's called player-led workouts, and we use a lot of our 3-on-3 games like 3-on-3 Survivor, 3-on-3 Spurs. We have a game called 3-on-3 Turkey, where you got to score or stop 3 in a row. You only get 3 passes, 3 dribbles. And then we have a game we call Braveheart. It's kind of like the movie Braveheart. Oh. You have 3 starting at the bottom of the baseline and 3 at the top. And when they cross paths, they got to yell and scream, kind of like the movie Braveheart. So we have a lot of different games that we do with our high school kids. We've implemented with our youth program as well. When we call it ABC, our Ames Basketball Club kids play and practice throughout the course of the week, we ask them to play a lot of 3-on-3, whether it's traditional 3-on-3 or FIBA 3-on-3. And then I run a lot of camps and clinics, both indoors and outdoors, with our community, and it's all 3-on-3, which again, it's the best way to play.
Yeah, we do way more than ever 3-on-3 breakdown stuff, even in the 5-on-5 season during practice. Almost all of the teaching we do now is in a 3-on-3 setting. Like we're teaching our actions in our offense. We're doing it in 3-on-3 setting. We're teaching our ball screen coverage. We're doing it in a 3-on-3 setting. Obviously, inevitably, we get to the 5-on-5 stuff. We're adding, if we're in horns action, we're adding the 2 guys in the corners, and we're showing what the 2 other defenders would be doing in our rotations. But when we're teaching it, a lot of times we're teaching it in 3-on-3. When we're repping a specific action or a certain coverage, we're repping it in 3-on-3 actions. And I think obviously what that does is it focuses on the teaching point. It gets more players opportunities to get reps, because now we're breaking up to different baskets and have assistants doing different baskets. So, hey, we're teaching, very generic, we're teaching a switching ball screen coverage. well, we've got 6 players at this basket. We've got 6 players at this basket. Some years we've had up to 17, 18 players in our program. We might have 3 baskets of 6 players, all maximizing reps now instead of, hey, we got all 18 guys on one basket. And no, you have to break things down. So that's the obvious one. We do 3-on-3 tournaments to break up the monotony of our season during the season.
Mhm.
All right, hey, maybe we just had a tough loss. We need to regroup and get ready for a game in 2 days. Tomorrow's going to be very heavy on scout, but today, instead of a normal practice, we're just going to go compete. Let's remember why we love basketball. Let's just go compete with each other. You know what I mean? And that's helped. It breaks up the monotony, especially in the dog days of the 5-on-5 season, in the middle of January in inner city Chicago, where there's snow on the ground and it's gray and it's freezing cold. Yo, let's have some fun today. Let's go compete. Let's remember why we love this game.
I think 3-on-3, the 3-on-3 format is also a great for coaches. I mean, it forces you to coach also. So, I mean, you're not gonna, sometimes, we're talking about how I used to stay in the corner or whatever. Coaches will have their hands off as long as, the best player has the ball and, we're working our action on the other side of the court or whatever. So, but you're not really telling players how to move. I mean, you'll hear, coaches every now and then scream, move. But, I think when you shorten the game with 3-on-3 and you can see all the players, you're gonna completely notice that guy standing still.
Yes.
And you're gonna be forced, hey, move. You're gonna be forced to coach or be more engaged. The coaches are more engaged, just like the players are more engaged. So I think it works both ways.
I agree.
And Kevin, that might be the biggest aspect of playing 3-on-3 is it's fun.
Yeah.
If kids got to have fun. If they're not going to have fun, they're probably not going to play or
Correct.
keep developing or even stay with the sport. So I think that's one thing. I'm glad you brought that up because it's one of the things that I think we need as coaches need to keep in mind how to make the game fun.
I do have a couple messages for the people out there. First of all, if any kids are out there, dream big. Our school has proven that if you have a dream, you can accomplish it in this game. With the guys in the NBA and at the different universities and colleges. The last thing is, like Coach Show said, this game is overcoached and undertaught. If you're a coach out there, do kids a justice and teach them how to play and let them play. There's so many different things you can learn from this game. It's a beautiful game, and I seriously think that a basketball court is the best teaching environment in the planet as long as we allow it.